everyone for refreshments and every other thing we'll be sharing here today.
Saftoni, Akuri, Tuhon.
And I work as a communications associate with Sahel Consulting Agriculture and Nutrition Limited, and I'll be your host for today's special event. On behalf of Sahel Consulting Agriculture and Nutrition Limited, Sahel Capital Agri Business Managers Limited, and the African Food Change Makers team, I'm delighted to Sahel Conference, Scholars Conference 2023. Can we all put a round of applause put our hands together for Sahel, the Sahel Group? I would like to especially welcome our special guests, partners, policymakers, industry stakeholders from across Nigeria who have joined us today partnered with us to make it possible. We had over 1,000 students indicate interest in this event, attesting to the importance of the theme of this conference. Each and every one of time your busy schedule to join. I'll get started with the agenda, what we'll be doing today, and all that's being packaged for us. We're going to hear from one of the professors, the lecturer who us from, then we'll go into Sahel and the impact we've been making with the Sahel Scholars Conference. We'll also hear from the keynote seated Professor E.C. Okolocha, and then before we move on to the panel discussion, we'll have a Q&A session. We'll also have breakout sessions where industry experts will take us on different topics to further develop our knowledge and build our capacity about the agri sector. And then finally, we'll have the closing remarks and vote of thanks. If you are ready for this event, can I hear you say ABU Zaria? I don't think that was loud enough. You people are even making me afraid because you are so cold. Please, let's warm up. Let's all shout ABU Zaria. Thank you very much. I would like to welcome Professor, our Assistant Dean, Professor Lucky, to come on stage and give us his welcome remarks. Let's put our hands together, please. Thank you very much. Over.
Thank you very much, madam. Please, let's have one house. Actually, the dean himself, Professor Mutar Mahmoud, ought to have actually chaired this particular event, welcome this event. You all to this conference. Yeah, he's also the chief executive. Because of that, he's not able to be here. And he has asked me to actually, he felt so bad that he can't be here, honestly. So I will have to welcome you all to the Sahel Scholars Conference, which I think they started since 2017. And I'll say, ABU, should be proud of ourselves because this is the second time they are coming to ABU. I think we should applaud, we need an applause for that. And for those that attended the first one, that one took place in the assembly hall. I know it was a very, very interactive section. This is an opportunity for us, especially the young ones that are about to leave this place. One day we'll all be outside the university. For now, you feel you are facing challenges, lecture, shotgun, tests, exams. But let me tell you, that is just the piece of the iceberg. It's until when you go out of this system, you will now see challenges. So I will say you are very, very opportune that this conference is coming at this time, whereby things are really becoming very difficult. Where the Nigeria policy now is now geared towards increasing food production. So please let's maximize and use this opportunity so that when we are out of this place, the experience we will have gathered from here will be meaningful to make us someone better at the end of the day. Thank you very much. Welcome. I want to declare the work conference open. Thank you.
Before going ahead, we would like to share a few housekeeping rules. Please, let's put our phones on silence. And if you want to go out, let's do so peacefully so that we don't distract others. As you know, we have an amazing lineup of speakers here with us for the event today. and we plan to engage you all in the various conversations throughout the program. Please feel free to tweet about it or share what you're learning on Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform you find most useful. Go ahead to tweet about it. Make sure to tag us at Sahel Consulting. Also tag Sahel Capital and tag the African Food Change Makers. Use our hashtag SSC 2023 on all your social media pages. Now we'll go into the program proper. Are we all ready? I would now like to take this opportunity to introduce the Sahel family, and to do so, we'll be inviting Helen Okotie, who is a senior program analyst at Sahel Consulting. She will be talking about, she'll be giving insights, I beg your pardon, into the Sahel Group, the companies behind this conference, and our activities in the agriculture and nutrition landscape. The purpose for which we are gathered here today is to learn. So I implore all of you to keep an open mind. Make sure you have your notepad and jot down your questions, because we're going to have a Q&A session. I'll now hand over to Helen Okotie, who will share more about this program and the impact we've made over the years. Please join me in welcoming Helen Okotie.
Thank you very much, Sheung. Good morning, everyone. As Sheung has rightly said, I'm Helen Okotie and I work as a senior program analyst at Sahel Consulting. And I head the Sahel Scholars Club. So without wasting much time, I'll go forward to introducing the three organizations who put together this conference. So this conference is sponsored by both Sahel Consulting, Sahel Africa, Sahel Consulting, African Food Change Makers, and Sahel Capital. The mission of Sahel Consulting is to transform Africa's agriculture and nutrition landscape through tailored, innovative, and market-based research, strategic advisory, training, and innovative business and ecosystem solution. And the vision is to be recognized as the most trusted consulting partner and point of reference in the Africa agriculture and nutrition landscape. Our services include advisory service, agricultural value chain analysis, policy consulting, project implementation, and capacity building. For Sahel Capital, they provide capital, they leverage knowledge, they build companies, they generate returns, and they impact life. Why? For the African food change makers, they believe that the small and medium-sized entrepreneur are the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa. These enterprises are driven by visionary, dynamic, and innovative entrepreneurs who operate as primary producers, aggregators, processors, distributors, finance, and technology providers. At the AFC, their mission is to enable African entrepreneurs to start and scale resilient and sustainable agribusinesses that feeds Africa and the world by providing training, funding opportunities, exposures, trade linkages, and foster a vibrant community of change makers. So we are going to be moving to the corporate shared value. Every year, through our corporate shared value, the company aims to create sustainable values in the communities in Nigeria through the implementation of various capacity building and humanitarian projects. What these corporate values means to us is that for us, the implementation of programs that serve as a catalyst to build the capacity of individuals and to advance social conditions in communities where Sahel operates. And through these, we help in the inclusion of the underserved and vulnerable population. As part of CSV, we have two arms of CSV. We have the Community Empowerment Program, and we have the Sahel Scholars Program, which is why we are here today. At the Community Empowerment Program, what we do there is to impact communities through the implementation of humanitarian projects, where we help to renovate schools in rural communities. We help to provide amenities in hospitals, in rural areas to ensure that people have access to good health care. And then we also help in renovations across different communities in different states. While at the Sahel Scholars Program, our aim is to educate and empower undergraduate students in agriculture and related fields through mentorship, hands-on experience, and scholarship opportunities. Part of the objective is to expose students to the opportunities in agribusinesses, to train top performing students in agriculture and related courses, and to collaborate with academic institutions to bridge the gap in the agricultural sector. As part of the components of the Sahel Scholars Program, we have the Sahel Scholars Conference, which this year we've already held two. We held one at OAU in May, the second held at UNN in June, and we are currently here at ABU for the hybrid, which is the final conference for this year. And next year is our hope that we even hold one in across Africa in an African university. We hope we're able to do that next year. And aside from conferences, we have 4-week internship opportunities at our offices at either Abuja or Lagos, where top students are being chosen to come for a 4 weeks internship in our offices. We also have merit-based scholarship, which are given to these students when returning back to school. And we have career and mentorship for select. And since that year, we've been able in Nigeria, and we've also had 2 virtual conferences, which was done during the COVID period. And so far, we've been able to reach over 7,000 students via these conferences. We've been able to engage 18 scholars through internship opportunities. And we've had 14 students from the conferences, which you can see in the slide. And then we have feedback from our previous scholars. So from our previous scholar, we have Adeyemi Ibukun, who is a 2019 scholar from Obafemi Awolowo University, who says, "My time at Sahel Scholars helped broaden my horizon on the several efforts and initiatives existing within the Nigerian agricultural sector." We also have Chiamaka Nwagu, a 2017 scholar from the UNN, who said, "Working on projects at Sahel gave me the opportunity to analyze and draft project plans to witness implementation, and I learned about work ethics, especially accountability." And then we have Oluwatosin from FUNAB, who says that the Sahel Scholars Conference 2022 was instructive for me because I learned from the richness of experience and information shared by the speakers and panelists about how young participation in climate smart practices is essential for agricultural sector. And these are a few feedbacks from our previous scholars. And for this year, we are hopeful that by the end of this month, we should have 3 scholars who will be coming to intern at our office. Thank you very much, and please enjoy your day.
Please, let's give her one more round of applause. Thank you, Helen. We appreciate the great work that Sahel Scholars Program is doing to support young scholars. I would encourage interested agri-food participants to join the African Food Changemakers Hub. To connect with the African Food Changemakers community, we'll be sharing the link for you to see what they've been up to. You can also visit our website on sahelconsult.com to see all the numerous opportunities that are available for young scholars. Next, we are delighted to have in our midst Professor E.C. Okolocha, who is a lecturer in the Department of Public Health and Preventive Medicine. He's our keynote speaker. I'll briefly read his bio and welcome him on stage. Professor Emmanuel Okolocha is a professor of Public Health and Preventive Medicine at ABU Zaria. He obtained his DVM degree from UNN, his MSc in Tropical Veterinary Epidemiology from Berlin, and PhD in Veterinary Public Health and Preventive Medicine from ABU Zaria. He rose through the ranks to become a professor in 2013. Prior to lecturing, he had worked at a private veterinary clinic in Kaduna State and had a stint in private veterinary practice. He has over 32 years of experience in lecturing and research He teaches students at both the undergraduate and postgraduate level and has had more than 86 publications in both local and international journal conference proceedings. He has supervised and graduated more than 20 PhD and MSc students and has attended many local and international conferences. He has served as the auditor for the Nigerian Veterinary Medicine Association and is currently the national president of the Society for Occupational Safety and Environmental Health. Professor Emmanuel Okolocha is a professor of public health and preventive medicine. He teaches students at both level, All right, let's just move on to it. Let's give a warm welcome to Professor E.C. Okolocha. He will be speaking on amplifying youth voices, the role of young leaders in building sustainable food systems. Let's keep jamming those hands together as he approaches the stage, please.
Good morning, everyone. They do like say when they sleep. Greatest apple sites. Great. Now, no, it means we answer self. So how I do? It's not easy to be a young man, go. And that is why I'm coming to talk to you today, so that you will not make the use of their youth. Go. I thought somebody would be coming around to us. People say, you leave me on your phone. Let me carry my bag, come here. Eh? So, I don't need to introduce myself. Apparently, this is not on yet, but that's part of it, what you see here. The topic I'll be speaking on is already here, shown on your banner here. Amplifying youth voices, the systems. economic wahala. Say all lizards are lying down. You don't know the one that has stomach ache. Well, have you ever seen a lizard standing up? All of them are lying down, but you don't know the one that has stomach ache. As God will have it, we are all here. We give all thanks to God and hope that we shall make the very best of our being here. The topic I was given is very apt and appropriate, especially for the period we are in this country, Nigeria, for the following reasons. One, the youth to the aged ratio. Are you getting the point? The youth to the aged ratio. In Nigeria, in particular in Africa as a whole, compared to the situation in the developed world. Yes, the youth to the aged ratio. We have a lot of youths in Africa generally, a lot of youth that serve as a very, very big weapon for massive development in all ramifications. But the problem is, how prepared are they to take up the challenges that they should take up in order to make wherever they are dwelling or wherever they are staying very habitable and prosperous? This is as against what we have in the developed world, where women, because they want to maintain their shape, they don't want to get old or look like 911 too early. They don't want to give birth to. Even if they give birth, they don't want to breastfeed too much because they want to remain young forever. Are you getting the picture? But in Africa, we have a good population of youths. And that is why, don't think that these migrations that are taking place, you going to US, Canada, and all these other countries, that the countries, they do not like it. It is more intense now, despite the fact that some lose their lives in the desert or in the high seas where they are trying to escape. The aged over there are retiring from their jobs, and the young ones to replace them are not much available. Therefore, they want to bring everybody. So it might be another form of, I don't want to use the word slavery or colonialism, because they are moving the young ones in order to fill the gaps. That is the brilliant ones. In order to fill the gaps that their aged ones are leaving, they cannot find their own young people to replace. Are you getting this picture? That is one, why this topic is very appropriate. The second is that the youth is the hope of the family. In any family where you don't have the young people, there is problem. Is it not? A father or a mother, parents look back and discover that there is nobody to succeed them, nobody to carry on the name of the family, nobody to even give them water when their hands start shaking, and so on and so forth. So in every family, in every group, in every organization, nation, or world at large, youths, they are very, very important resource, and you cannot joke with them. So if you think anybody does not value you, it's a very big lie. You are all properly valued, well valued, whether it's spoken or not. Even if any other person doesn't value, I value the youth. And I'm sure all the people here, yeah. Otherwise, I will not come for this lecture. In short, it was your spirit that attracted me more than every other thing. The final one is that the role of youths in achieving sustainable development goals. There are 17 of them, 17 sustainable development goals, acronym SDG. They are the ones. I don't want to waste more time there so that by the time I speak, you understand why you are important. But the worst thing that will happen to any of us is that when the youth does not experience, when you don't know who you are and what you can do, it will be very highly lamentable, because that means it will become a total waste of opportunity, of talents, and then of time. The topic is no doubt quite appealing, very germane, very compelling, and admirably well thought out by the organizers of this program. Before I continue, it is important that I define some important keywords around which this presentation will revolve. These include the words amplify, youth, young leaders, sustainable, and then food systems. To amplify, there are many different meanings of amplify, but you choose the most appropriate one for what you are presenting. Of all the definitions, the second definition appears more appropriate for our purpose. That is to make larger. To amplify, it means to make larger or greater, as in amount, importance, or intensity. To increase the strength of or amount of, especially to make louder. For voices, here the fourth meaning appears most appropriate: wish, choice, opinion, openly or formally expressed. Right of expression, also influential power. When you are put in a position where you can influence, do you do that negatively or positively? Then the next one is youth. The time of life when one is young, especially the period between childhood and maturity, the early period of existence, growth, or development. That's when the nurturing, the packaging, and everything about you to reach the final destination of adulthood takes place. If young, of related or having the characteristics of youth or young person at heart. So that means in this particular speech, I'm using young and youth interchangeably. So leader is a person who has commanding authority or influence. By the time you look at these definitions, you discover that when you are a young leader, it is expected that you have a commanding influence. Well, and for you to have a commanding influence, you must be prepared. You cannot be ignorant and be in a position where you can command and influence what is around you. It's only when you are knowledgeable, when you are equipped, when you have the capacity that you will be able to do that. So then the next one is sustainable. Sustainable, the word is every time used, especially in this day and age, of or relating to being a method of harvesting. But the one that is more appropriate is using resource so that the resource is not depleted or permanently damaged. What we do as elders or adults here can affect you in future. That is why the leadership in this country or in the world at large should be so very circumspect in the sense that what they do cannot lead to a sustainable future for the young ones. You finish something and then it's no longer available, and the young ones will not see anything to feed on or depend on. Now, food systems, very, very important word, the food systems. The term food systems refers to all elements and activities related to producing and consuming food and their effects, including economic, health, and environmental outcomes. I say it again, all the elements and activities related to producing and consuming food and their effects. Is not just you consume food, you look at their economic, health, and environmental outcomes. A food system is a collaboration of all steps involved in food creation. The young ones listen very well, because from here you should be getting information about what you think you can do for with yourself in the future. I said the food system is the collaboration of all steps involved in food creation, including production. Some of you want to get involved, very seriously involved at that level, at the level of production, processing. Some of you will also want to get involved and become millionaires and billionaires at the level of processing food products. Distribution. Some of you may want to be involved in food distribution. You collect and distribute. Then consumption. Some of you are involved. In short, some of you, I know some students who already have cafeteria. They have restaurants where they make food and then they have put people there. And at the end, sometime within the day, they will go and be sure that things are going well. And then waste management. What we pass on or what you pass out is all needs to be managed. Otherwise, it will look as if all of us are living in a jungle. There are people too who want to get involved in that area. So food systems encompass all the ways in which food is produced, distributed, and consumed. However, food systems perspective encompasses much more than the pathways from the field to the fork. Are you getting the point? Or from farm to the plate. Everything about food system, from the time of cultivation, getting the crops, planting them, throughout the growth, the harvest, and the consumption. Even the storage of that which you cannot finish at a time. Preservation, all of them are the things that encompass the food systems. Now, food systems are the public policy decisions, the national and global systems and supply chains, and the individuals and groups, public and private, that influence what we eat. In the final analysis, everything concerning food will end in the mouth. Despite all that we do, whether you are the one providing or you are providing for another. There are important, they are important for two key reasons, food systems. What we eat, our diet is one of the biggest drivers of health and well-being. There's a book I read that it said, what you eat is you. You get the point. What you eat is you. In the final analysis, it makes or mars you. Then he said it's one of the biggest drivers of health and well-being. This is especially the case for children. Good nutrition at every stage of a child's life is vital to ensure they grow and develop and learn to reach their full potential. There are certain types of food you deny children. Yeah, they'll be growing physically, but their brain may not be growing at the same rate. That is why we have words like in Yoruba, they call it Olodoko. In which language? Yoruba, Olodo. There's also Mumuko in Hausa. In Igbo is what? Onukuko. Onuku is even Yoruba too. So these are the things. You think that is the fault of the adult that has become the child that has become an adult. Is the way the child was, what the nutrition and everything that the child went through. Now, what are the type of food systems we have? There are different types of food systems. They consist of global, that is worldwide, national, yes, regional, and local food systems. We talk about global when we talk about the world at large. National, Nigeria, where we are. In short, and then when you talk about regional, you look at the West African region. I'm telling you, in the West African region, it looks as if Nigeria has the richest source and variety of foods. Can you not clap for that? Even if you're not a Nigerian, by the time you stay here small, you understand what I mean. I've visited a number of countries, Nairobi, Kenya, Nairobi. In short, when I went to Ethiopia, I was almost eating only corn. Every food has corn inside it. Masara. You get the point. And at the point, you can imagine how to eat rice is a special delicacy. So I've discovered in Africa, in West Africa, they have the richest variety of foods. You know, you come all the kinds of soup, banga soup, egusi soup, onugu soup, what? Idikaiko, white soup, black soup, green soup, red soup. So make sure you eat, and then experience. Yes. So food systems are the sum of actors and interactions along the food chain, you know, from input, supply, and production of crops. There are places I will naturally skip just to save time. Now, in each of the steps that we take in the food system gradually, there are certain very basic words you bear in mind. In each of these steps, we have labor. In order for a food system to be properly given the shape and color it deserves, there must be labor. There must be energy. There must be waste also, provision for waste, which sometimes could be recyclable. Labor consists of the people who help work during the process, like farmers, restaurant staff, cashiers, and many more. Energy is electricity and or fuel needed to make food and transport food, like machines that help with farming, trucks, restaurants, grocery stores, kitchen appliances, and many more. Other components such as water, sun, soil, and seeds help make the food grow. Now, waste is packing used materials like plastic, boxes, and paper. This is positive or negative because some companies are recyclable materials, while others, some companies use recyclable materials, while others don't. A practical definition of food systems should meet two essential criteria. I've been talking about food systems. Bear that in mind, from where it starts, what is in between, and where it ends. Now, a practical definition of food systems should meet two essential criteria. One, it should be suitable for the purpose at hand, which is to support global and national collective efforts to bring about positive change in food system by accelerating progress on meeting the 2030 agenda and the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals in particular, to end hunger, improve diets, and protect ecologies. The second Sustainable Development Goal is to do what? I agree with you, we should know it. To do what? To end hunger. There are 17 of them. Google and then read the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So the second practical definition of food system is that it should be sufficiently precise to define the domains for policy and programmatic priorities, but sufficiently general not to exclude any aspects of economic, social, and ecological dimensions of sustainability. What Elaine said here calls to mind what she said here, what the organization is doing. They are into a lot of these things that I've mentioned. In short, they are deep from what she has reported here into issues concerning the food systems. Sustainable food systems are those that contribute to food security. Are you getting the point? That nobody goes to bed hungry. Food security and nutrition for all in such a way that the economic, social, and cultural and ecological basis that generate food security and nutrition for future generations are safeguarded. Whenever you mention future generations, you have sustainability in mind. You do what you are doing as a leader today in order that the people coming in future will still see what to eat or what to work on, or even get better. But sometimes our behavior is like we finish as if we are the only one existing and let it end there. We should be thinking of the future. The role of youth in agriculture. All of you here are youth. Some of us are young in mind, but you people are essentially youth. You listen. Who are the youth? There is no universally agreed international definition of youth age group. For statistical purposes, however, the United Nations, without prejudice to any other definitions, made member states define youth as those persons between the ages of 15 and 24. I'm sure some of you will start panicking now. If you're 25, you're looking at yourself somehow, that you are an old man. Foul. You are not. That is their own definition. You get the point. Youth is the future of the society. In Nigeria, sometimes they say the youth is between the ages of 18 and 35. Deputy, go back. More than that, it's good to console ourselves. Somebody that is 45 can you say, I'm a youth. Go. As far as you can bubble and shuffle. So youth is the future of the society. The young generation simply needs to renew, refresh, and maintain the current status of society. When the youth, remember, when the youth contributes his ideas and energy to resolve social issues, he becomes a capable leader and can also make a difference in the lives of others. When a youth contributes his ideas and energy to resolve social issues, he becomes a capable leader and can also make a difference in the lives of others. It's not when you see two people quarreling or fighting, you take sides immediately without knowing why they are fighting. The first thing to show that you're a leader is to stop the fight. Not be so. Irrespective of who is fighting, our first vocation in life is the humanity. It's not where you come from or what faith you profess. Humanity. Because when you feel hungry, when we feel hungry, we behave the same way. When we are not happy, we behave. Is there anybody when he's crying, his mouth will be somehow? Unless you are deformed. Go. The crying is opening of mouth and closing. Go. The tears, does anybody cry out blood? When you want to go to toilet, is it stone that you pass out? Is it not the same thing, that you ate that you will pass out as a waste? So when you look at all these things, you say the first vocation of all humanity we have is the humanity. First, we are human beings before we are placed wherever we find ourselves. Therefore, when you see a person in need, it's a reasonable act of leadership to ensure that you make things better for that person. Are you getting the picture? I think, I believe that I'm speaking to the youth. They have the ability, the youth, they have the ability to learn and adapt to environment. Similarly, they are willing to learn and act on it as well as to achieve their goals. Our youth can bring reform and improvement in society. We cannot make do without the youth. See how important you are. Youths are the foundation of society. I'm emphasizing this. Their energies, their inventiveness, their character and orientation define the pace of development and security of a nation. For violence, who are the people that are normally hired? Who? For people, elders who commit crime, they will have meeting somewhere. And at the end of the meeting, who do they send to fight? You don't even know what is causing the fight. But they have just brainwashed and say, go and fight. You go and fight and die. And your parents, who may not even know that you are involved in that, will be lamented. Then in any nation, In any nation, the youth represent the most vital and energetic element of the population. Statistics indicate that developing nations with sizable youth populations might see significant development in all areas of their economies if they invest in young people's rights, education, and health. That is what we are begging our leaders. To invest in the youth. When you invest in the youth, you can be sure of the future of the country. I'm telling you, I wish some of them were here. Of those who can communicate to them, let them know. Then the 5 competencies of a healthy youth are, take this home. 1, positive sense of self. You must be proud of who you are. If somebody is taller than you, he cannot be shorter than you. Is he not? You cannot be shorter and taller at the same time than me. God knows the reason why I'm shorter. Because when something falls on the ground, I can easily pick it. Before you bend down to pick, I've already gone away with what? Is it not an advantage? That's to give you an example. I'm not looking for mango that is on the tree. Because when the mango falls on the ground, now me get advantage. But you, when it's on the tree, you may have advantage. However, it's possible. It's possible that if I have the right education, I may even look for a way to get the mango before you who is tall. Are you getting the picture? So to tell you what education can do. Then the 5 competencies. First thing, you also have to have respect for yourself. Don't look down on yourself. And don't allow anybody on earth to look down on you. If your father is a minister, and so what? Are you the minister? You are not. You yourself can be the minister tomorrow when things will be better. So please, don't allow anybody to look down on you. And you don't look down on anybody. We have what we call, what type of inadequacies? Inferiority complex, and also there's superiority complex. None of them makes you who you are. You can never be who you are if you have any of them. Whether it's superiority or inferiority, you are not yourself. And you keep losing ground as far as you are not yourself until before you turn around, others have passed you by and you are far behind. Are you getting this picture? It's very important. So, one is positive sense of self. Self-control is not everything that happens that matters, or everything you see that matters. You must have self-control. You know, I read a particular portion where they talk about youth, those who are teenagers. They start going out to look for boys or for girls. Oh boy, in a disaster, you enter. Wallahi talahi, complete compounded disaster. Because at that time, you don't have the sense to distinguish what is of priority or not. Your development, personal development is the most important. You get at a level where you can now know whether this girl I am following or this boy I am following will mean well for me or I mean well for her. There's always a stage for that. Then the next is, the third one is decision-making skills. You know, people will blame you when you don't take a decision about something. But even when you take a decision and things don't go well, they will say, after all, you decided, after giving the circumstances around you. The worst is not to make a decision. And that is what happens in this country. Most leaders don't make decisions. Things just flow like that. This man is, this person or this person has stolen government funds. You are prevaricating on whether to punish or not. Time goes, just forget about it. Another one will do worse thing. And then that is how a country continues to go down. Then the next one is moral system of belief. Yes. There's, if you don't have morality, that know what is bad and what is good. The tendency is that you may find many people that will not want to be around you. They want to keep a distance from you. Then the final one is pro-social connectedness. Pro-social connectedness. There are people I will see, I've not known them before, no matter despite where they come from. I sit down and start discussing, and the discussions flow. Yes. Before he turns around, he discovers that, okay, this one is a Christian. I'm a Muslim. But we are discussing well. Things are going well. This one is from north, this one is from south. But we have already gone far because we allowed our humanity first to take control. Then I will now be helping to do things for him because I know sometimes I can use him to project what I think about others in the area. I say, yeah, the people there are good. Let me tell you one very funny thing. During the Civil War that Nigeria passed through, the former Vice President, late Ekweme, had properties in Lagos. And throughout the 3 years of the Civil War, somebody in Lagos was collecting house rent from his house. At the end of the Civil War, the man called him, said, come on, God, these are all the house rents I've collected for you for the 3 years. This is your money. If it were you, how you go feel? Yoruba man carried the money and gave him. This is your money. And they used it to establish one of the, I've forgotten the name of the bank, one of the thriving banks in Nigeria. So, but if it are you, you go do them. If you do them, so there are good people everywhere, and they don't want you to convince them that goodness is not what attempting on. So whatever it is, moral system of belief is very important. Youth, remember, see the qualities you also have. Youth has greater physical strength than age. Younger people are they have more energy and stamina. They can keep going and going long after the older people cannot and have had enough. Young people reach their fitness, the fittest and strongest at around 25 years. Are you getting the point? And remain at roughly that level for the next 10 and 15 years. When you add 10 to 35, what is it? 10 to 35 is what? And then 15 to 35 is what? 50. So you can imagine you are young, you are energetic, you are able and capable. You are strong from your youth. The tendency is that you carry on that up to the age of 45 and even up to age of 50. That is why they talk about the young and the young at heart. So what you are doing now will decide whether what you will be in the next 20 or 30 years. You get the point? One funny guy, one writer said that old age starts from the leg. So people should learn to walk. W-A-L-K. So youth starts down that you are here. So if you want to still remain young and young at 60 plus, you must start working now. Youth are a major force for sustainable development and key agents for social change, economic and technological innovation. There are 6 types of dimensions of youth empowerment, namely psychological. Is not, especially we adults, some of us, some parents are also guilty of this. Don't be telling your child that you can never, you're a useless person. You are a failure. You cannot achieve. See the son of Adamu. See the daughter of Abdullahi. You can never be like them. Now your child, they tell like that too. You are defeating the child psychologically. The next is community. Let a child grow and develop the sense of community, not running away from their people. Organizational. There are a lot of things that go wrong where people are not organized, and the youth should be made to understand that he or she needs to be organized. Then economic is when you have these qualities that you start looking at the angle of economic progress in your life. Then social and cultural. Yes, I don't know how true it is. I know some of our people here are Fulani people. What do you do before you marry? They gave the impression that they will flog you very well. If you don't cry, then you are qualified to marry. True or yes? Okay, that was some years back. But did it ever happen? This young Indomie eating generation, if they flog you like that, will you survive this? That if you don't cry, then you marry. These girls, you see what you go through in order to have you as wives. But thank God it's before, because some people will be injured and then treatment will be difficult. Now, there are 6 dimensions of youth empowerment. So the psychological, community, organizational, economic, social, and cultural benefits of youth empowerment. Part of what the youth need, as we are all here, this is a deputy dean, the assistant dean is moving around, making sure that things go well. And then when I saw Helen standing here, you would think that this person just passed jump and is to enroll into the university. She has gone far. Not be training where she gets. Is it by age or by size? She has gone far. So you, as you are, you are the potential great human beings that we have in this world. Just bear that in mind. You are, God has given you all the things you need to be great. And wherever you find yourself, any community you find yourself, to make things positive there. If you don't do that, don't blame anybody for your problems. And that is why you even have the advantage of going to school. Not only going to school, but going as high as to a university. Are you getting the picture? So, access to positive role models. You can serve as we are. Some of us may serve as role models. But even you, when you go to your you do, despite the height you have attained, you still go to help to fetch water for your home. You still sometimes fetch firewood. You see you sometimes still boil water for your mother and your father, and so on and so forth. These are the way to show to be models, role models. Then you don't give me pepper. 5 minutes more, hey, I don't finish. Then skill development, which all of you are doing now. Reduction in crime rate is when you don't do what you're supposed to do. You start branching to the criminal things. And of course, self-efficacy. There are things definitely I have to I just have to leave them. We look at role of young leaders in building sustainable food systems. Our generation of youth is the largest in history and has a valuable role to play in making our food systems more sustainable, resilient, and effective. Youth have the largest stake, so need strongest influence in shaping sustainable, resilient, healthy, and equitable food systems. They demand a seat at the table, and for world leaders to incorporate their priorities in commitments made at the UN, this UN Food Systems Summit. I was listening to President of Uganda, and he was saying that they said, if you have failed to be on the table, if you are not on the table, you may be part of the menu. You understand that, what? If you are not on the table, the thing where we the fire with this Western world, they say if you are not on the table, you may end up being part of the menu. So instead of being on the table, you enter plate. You know what that means? You'll be a chopping material. So we have more younger people in the world than ever before, accounting for 16% of the world's population. Youth must have the strongest influence in shaping the sustainable, resilient, healthy, and equitable food system we need for both today and tomorrow. In a world in which temperatures continue to rise and extreme weather events are ever more common, this generation is on the front line, feeding a growing population against a backdrop of heats, extremes, droughts, and flooding as a result of growing conflict. There are things you will encounter in the process of you trying to be the best in your environment and make your environment positive. Some of them are natural. Some of them are also man-made. Now, finally, amplifying youth voices in food systems. This is the last area I will go through. To effectively, therefore, amplify youth voices in food system, the youth need to be equipped with life coping skills and natural and survival instincts or skills which make an individual adapt fittingly and adequately into the society in which he or she finds himself. The youth also should be equipped with manipulative skills. When I say manipulative skills, it's not wayo skill. Are you getting the point? Because when you hear that somebody is very manipulative, it's always in the negative sense. When A does not work, how do I navigate in order to make B work? Are you getting the point? Then the next one is intellectual skills, which by virtue of your exposure to academics and the things you see in your environment, you are also acquiring. Another one is communicative skills. It will be unfortunate that when you, after going to the university, it's only your local language you can be efficient in. How do you break the border, break the boundaries, and go and then interact with other people who can help you get resources that you come back with into your own area and develop your area better? So you must be very, very communicative. You get the point? Whether it's English or Yoruba, the more languages you understand, the more likely you are to move, go beyond borders and do a lot of escapades. Artistic skills too. These are also very important. Then the three essential factors, therefore, for empowerment, youth empowerment, are learning, labor, you must learn to be hardworking, and then leadership. When a youth is equipped with this, we'll talk about amplifying the voices of, because you can't amplify voices that cannot be communicative, that have not shown learning, that cannot show skills. By providing quality education, talent development, skills, training, boosting hiring opportunities, and investing in technology. The three essential factors for empowerment are therefore learning, labor, and leadership. Together they are called the 3 Ls. The more young people grow into well-educated adults with fewer dependents and new opportunities to acquire wealth, savings, and purchasing power, the more they will be able to accelerate economic growth and development. All you need to develop a set of core life skills to manage school. Some of you may be involved in that, to manage school, work, outside interests, and social relationships successfully. From the perspective of brain development, these skills include planning, focus, self-control, awareness, and flexibility. To achieve the mandate of youth empowerment and inspire food system change in continent, the youth must be heard. There's a program called Generation Africa that has identified 3 areas where we must amplify the voices of youth to succeed. If any one of them is ignored, the chances of successful outcome become tenuous. 1, youth inspiring youth. The fact that you know and your fellow youth does not know should not make you proud of yourself. If you can inspire the other one, that would be nice. The second one is youth engaging in policy making. Youth can help to make policies. I've interacted with a lot of them, and I know some of them are intelligent enough in order to contribute very effectively in policy making. That is policies things that can help you to declare the way that people things should go. Then youth informing support programs. Well, Helen here is a typical example. He's a youth. And I'm sure on the basis of the skills, the education she has acquired, she's doing what she's doing today. So amplifying youth voices is a design of holistic support programs to facilitate success in agribusiness. Because most of you here in the Faculty of Agriculture, you may find yourself engaging seriously in agribusiness at different points. Remember what I said initially about food systems. If you're able to understand the definition of food systems well, from production, processing, consumption, and so on and so forth, you may find where you can fit effectively in order to deliver. Empowerment is the process of motivating yourself and others to accomplish important goals or objectives. It helps enable people to take initiative, make decisions for themselves, and solve complex problems. Now, this is about the concluding part. How does it end? Without empowering, now I'm being specific, without empowering the youth of Africa to take advantage of the opportunities in the food system, the continent is doomed. There's a lot at stake. We are talking about 333 million people who don't know where the next meal is coming from. There's crass poverty in the land. Although 1 billion people in Africa are under the age of 35, the choices they make and the opportunities they embrace will determine whether hundreds of millions of human beings will have food to eat as climate uncertainties increase. The youth of Africa, for example, represent the creativity and energy that is sorely needed to end hunger, poverty, and inequality. By amplifying youth voices, they can inspire each other. By allowing youth input at the policy table, we can build a resilient policy environment for agri-businesses to thrive into the future. And by designing holistic support programs with youth in mind, we can ensure that they have all the tools they need to succeed. Thank you very much. You know the ask question for this one. Okay, so yeah. During the question and answer, because then some of the things have jumped into my common. Why must I sit down?
Thank you so much, Professor Okolocha, for the important insights that you have shared. I thought we'll give him a resounding round of applause. Thank you. You know, one key point he raised is the importance of knowledge in driving any form of innovation or change in the agriculture industry. Indeed, knowledge is the master key in building sustainable food systems. And to shed more light on this, I'll be welcoming someone very important in a minute, but I'd like us to take advantage of the Scholars Program, which is where we can broaden our knowledge and begin to, as young leaders, implement and execute change in the agric industry. To shed more light on the Sahel Group and how it is committed to transforming the agricultural and nutrition landscape and representing our managing partner at Sahel Consulting, please help me give a warm welcome to Fisayo Kayode, who is a senior manager at Sahel Consulting. Please let's welcome her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are we happy to be here? Okay, I'm delighted to represent the managing partner at Sahel, who is unavoidably unavoidably absent today in giving a remark. But before I start, I have two quick questions. How many of you in this room are studying agriculture? Please, can you just raise your hands up? Okay, virtually everyone. So how many of you applied to study agriculture? Scanty. How many of you applied to study medicine or civil engineering or mechanical engineering? Please, can you raise your hands? I really want to drive a point here. Okay, so I need one person to please come forward. If you had applied to study medicine or civil engineering, please, can you come forward? I have a quick question for you. Or veterinary medicine, and you ended up in agriculture. Okay, the lady in green is coming. Thank you. Please give her a round of applause again. So you're going to tell me your name, your department, what level you are. And I want you to quickly answer this question. Why did you choose medicine? How did you end up in agriculture? What do you think about medical doctors? And what do you think about farmers?
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Achika Favor. I'm a 500 level student of fisheries and aquaculture. I applied medicine because, well, most people felt like I was good enough to study medicine, not because I really wanted it. And then now, honestly, I'm very happy I'm in agriculture because agriculture is a very lucrative course. I've gotten a lot of opportunities while studying agric now. There are some things that I wouldn't have gotten now if I actually applied medicine. And I wouldn't be happy in medicine, honestly.
Thank you so much for the response. Sounds really encouraging. Growing up, most of our parents wanted us to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, because they felt like those were honorable professions to become. And every time we look at a doctor, we see them as very important to the society, very critical to humanity because they help you to maintain good health. But when they see a farmer, the next thing that comes to mind is poverty. This farmer is poor. If a farmer walks up to you today as a woman and say, I want to marry you, I'm a farmer, you're like, no, you go for the doctor over the farmer. That is because you have the mentality that farmers are poor and not that relevant. However, I want to let you know today that they are more critical in the landscape than the doctors. Because if you have good food, you have access to safe food, good food quality, and medicinal meals, you would not need to visit a doctor. If you eat apple once a day, what did they say? It makes you not visit a doctor in a day. And that is how important all of you are in this room. Okay. By 2030, Nigeria's population is going to increase to 263 million. And by 2050, it is going to increase to about 400 or over 400 million. That calls for an urgent situation. And what is the urgent situation? We need to feed the people. The federal government of Nigeria declared last month that there's food crisis. It was a state of emergency on food crisis. That means that we don't have access to adequate food, affordable food, and safe food. So there's food safety, there's food affordability, and there's food accessibility. But we do not have access to those things. And the factors driving this is because of poverty, poor production practices, and a lot of food waste. 60% of the food we produce in Nigeria goes to waste. Tomato is a very good example. We just published an article around tomatoes at Sahel Consulting. You can get it on the website and read. Again, 60% of this growing population, the fast growing population, are youths under 25. Professor already mentioned it earlier. We are the largest population in Nigeria, so we cannot continue to afford to fold our arms and watch the men and women growing old to control or to continue to be the ones controlling the agricultural landscape. We need to step up and respond to the state of emergency of food insecurity in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. Our population is a strength, but not looking at how we can turn our gaps to opportunities, I would say is a current weakness. So we can lean towards our strength to meet the gaps and opportunities in Africa agriculture. Now, Sahel Consulting started the Sahel Scholars Program in 2017. And the reason why this started is because of the struggle in identifying talents, good talents that can work in agricultural landscape. All we do at Sahel is agriculture, nutrition, management, consulting, research, training. We partner with development organizations to transform the ecosystem and support the livelihoods of farmers. But there is a gap in identifying skilled people to come into the landscape. And Sahel decided to start this program so that they bring into the school the opportunity that exists in agriculture and share with students the potential of being someone that would make a living and also impact the space beyond just thinking agriculture is for poor farmers. Everything is just about hoe and cutlass, be in the lab. You could be anything you want to be in the agri landscape. There's opportunity for you to be an educator. There's an opportunity for you to be an analyst, a consultant, an agri-tech person. There's agri-engineering. There's a lot of innovations. There's precision agriculture. There's a lot happening in the space right now that you can be. We started off in 2017 with one school, UNN, and we continue to grow and expand to the other schools. I think this is my second time in ABU for the same event. The last time I was here was 2018, and I'm excited to be back. I equally studied agriculture and I hated it. I didn't see the need to pursue any career in agriculture until I had the opportunity to intern at FAO. And through that, it exposed me to different opportunities in agriculture, and I decided to pursue it as a profession. Today, I do not regret it. And that is why I am always passionate about telling anyone studying agriculture who might not be interested that you can make something big out of agri. There's opportunity in agriculture, and we need to see ourselves as important or even more important as you see the doctors and the engineers and the lawyers and every other profession that you think is more prestigious than agriculture. We are delighted to be here today, and we hope that out of the top three scholars, we are going to have at least one from ABU Zaria. We've had some in the previous times. There was Lawal Abdul Karim, who through the scholars program interned at Sahel, got a scholarship for his final year, came back to Sahel and got a full-time job. He worked for about 2 to 3 years before he got a full-time scholarship for his master's abroad. Currently, Lawal is pursuing his PhD and flourishing in the sector. So that could be you, that could be anyone. Either you get a scholarship or not, there's an opportunity for you in the landscape. Thank you.
Thank you, Fisayo. We are now about to delve and go even deeper because we have an outstanding line and group of panelists who educate us and share more insights about all we've been discussing so far. But before we get there, let's try to refresh our minds and relax a bit. And to handle that, I'll be inviting Akibu Hamza, who is the NAS president, to come and give us the icebreaker. And I think there's also a surprise performance I hear. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Of the greatest Nigerian student, of the greatest Nigerian student, of the greatest bossa, another bossa, Supremo Waga, Aluta Gigi, Overconscious Yakata, Yakata Yakata, Choso Choso. A very good afternoon to you all, great Nigerian youth. I'm here to give you an icebreaker. I can see you're looking weak and dull. So we are going to present like a music. Should it be in a form of making fruit juice, actually, fruit salad, sorry. So this roll, we are going to take a watermelon. And then this middle roll, we pick a papaya. And that roll are going to pick banana. So this is how it goes. This roll, you said watermelon, watermelon. Then this will say papaya, papaya, and that side will go with banana, 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 banana. Then you all stand up and said fruit salad. So please, can we go from here? Please up on your feet. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Watermelon. Let's go. Papaya. Let's go, let's go. Papaya now. Stand up, please. Up, 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 up. Papaya, papaya. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Papaya, papaya. Let's go. The last roll. 1, 2, 3. Banana, 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 banana. All stand up. Okay, as you have all listened to what has been said, you come to believe that youths are the catalyst to sustainable food production in Nigeria and even across the world. Believe me, agriculture is the culture of any bio on earth. No matter which field you study, when you come to agriculture, you appreciate it. I never wanted agriculture before I got admission, but I did my diploma program in DAC, and that encouraged me to apply for agriculture in my degree. And today, proudly, I will say to you, I am farming and I'm happy with what I'm doing. So when you live here, you live here with the belief that you are going to make a change outside. It's not all about, just like the speaker said, you should be chasing ladies at this age. You try to think forward. Thank you very much.
I know if we don't remember anything from today, we'll remember how to make fruit salad. Is that correct? I'm going to try the watermelon, papaya, banana, banana. Sounds like a tasty, I will try it. All right, like I said earlier, we're about to dive even deeper. And I'll be handing over shortly to my colleague, Buhari Zubeiru, who is a program officer at Sahel Consulting, to introduce each of our panelists before we get on to the meat of it. I would like to appeal to us to take out our notepad if we haven't already. Make sure to jot down your questions because this group of panelists have broad knowledge and they can enlighten us so much on agribusiness and how we as young leaders and youths can be active in the agribusiness. Are we ready? Okay, please make welcome Buhari Zubeiru for him to invite the panelists as we begin the session, the next session.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Buhari Zubeiru, a senior program officer at Sahel Consulting Agriculture and Nutrition Limited. So it's a privilege and honor for me to introduce the panelists for the next couple of hours. We'll be having the panel discussion. So I'd like to call on the first person, who is Farhat, is the head and strategy and corporate sustainability at AFEX. So in her role, she leads a team of strategists and corporate sustainability experts dedicated to defining the strategic direction of AFEX business, monitoring the translation of strategic plans into operational delivery, and unlocking capital to scale. AFEX innovative solution for Africa Africa's commodities market. In her capacity as the head of corporate sustainability, she drives the organization's sustainability goals and engagement with key stakeholders that support significant transformation in Africa's commodities market. These include projects that have ensured improved livelihoods and shared up the gender balance among AFEX smallholder farmer numbers. In her work, Farhat has also facilitated projects that have unlocked funding for the benefit of significant downstream activities in agriculture, which contributed to the nation's food basket and has made significant contribution to data projects. Okay, she has also made to data projects that have resulted in one of the largest data banks for agriculture on the continent. So I would like to invite her to the stage at this point. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you so much. So the next person is an able person who is Fisayo. Oluwafisayo Mikayode. Oluwafisayo Mikayode is a trained animal scientist who has been working in building sustainable livestock production systems in Africa over the last 5 years. A wonderful person indeed. She currently serves as a productivity improvement manager on the Advancing Local Dairy Development in Nigeria program, where she manages strategy department and program implementation, leads the training and extension, advocacy, and behavioral change of smallholder dairy farmers, and oversees the delivery of feed and fodder establishment, animal health, and genetics and breeding improvement and services to program beneficiaries. Indeed, she does a lot. She worked with Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations under the Eradicating Avian Flu Influenza in Nigerian project. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Oluwafisayo Mikayode. So the next person I would like to invite to the stage is Nasiru Derma, who is an operation manager, Extension Africa. So Nasiru Derma is a seasoned agronomist and development professional with wealth of experiences cutting across public, private, and development sectors, supporting smallholder farmers across various value chains. A climate expert and nutrition-sensitive agricultural expert working towards providing climate-smart practices that support the socioeconomic status of the rural farmers. We have worked in partnership with development organizations, public, private bodies to provide business-driven sustainability models that would work independently of government and donor funds. Please, once again, a round of applause for Nasiru Derma. Another young, amazing person I would like to introduce and also call to the stage is Anna Mambula, a program officer at the African Food Changemakers. Anna Mambula is an enthusiastic development professional with experience in humanitarian and development project implementation. Her expertise spans a wide range of interventions, including gender equity, economic empowerment, protection and advocacy, education, sport, program officer at African Food Changemakers, AFC. She plays a pivotal role in the leading African women in food fellowship program. Her responsibilities encompasses supporting program implementation, devising strategic approaches, and engaging stakeholders to magnify the impact of African female changemakers in the food and agricultural landscape. Another round of applause for her. So I would like to call on to the last but not the least, who is also another interesting person, it's supposed to be Samuel Uloko, the CEO and founder of Akesa Agri, but who I learned is unavoidably absent and currently has a representative. And this representative is Godwin Osumeji. So thank you so much. Godwin is a representative of Samuel Uloko. Okay, so today the conference is centered around youth and also another concept, which is the food systems. And if you look at food system based on the lectures we've had from which was delivered by Prof, it's something that needs a systemic approach to provide an ecosystem solution. So a multilateral approach, you would say. So here we have a lot of thought leaders that I believe we're going to make justice to this topic. I think before we start, I will need a heavy round of applause for our speakers. Okay, so as a way to start, I would like to each one of you to introduce yourself. Do we have Mike here? Okay, thank you. So I would like each of the speakers to introduce themselves, tell us what they do in the agri landscape. Since we're talking about the agri landscape, then let's understand it cut across different value chain, as we've learned right from the planting to when it goes to our stomach. So perhaps kindly you go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. I guess of the greatest Nigerian students, plot twist, I did not study agriculture at all. So it wasn't a case of I had to make use of what I had. I studied geology in school, but I found that agriculture is interesting, and I am adding value in a different way than most people will be aware of. I work for a business that is involved in the commodities markets and supply chain management. And I know when you see my role, it's a mouthful, but really what I do in the sector is to drive the business, explain, look at long term, and then decide, which direction is good. And this is a critical role when you have a business. You can't just set up a business and just wait for people come, people don't come, and you're just opening and closing each day. You need to know, where are you heading to? What exactly is the plan you have? What exactly is that force that drives you as a business? And that's what I do for my business. I help them plan ahead, and I ensure that we have that impact element in what we do. The world has evolved beyond just making lots of money. Now we are at the place where you also need to give back from where you've been receiving. And so I also ensure that wherever it is we're taking, we're also adding value to wherever it is we've been to. And then a gender champion, more women in agriculture. We're doing so great, but it's been so long, nobody has heard anything from us. Our representation in the sector is very low, under no voice. So my job is to ensure that, we bring gender to the spotlight, show the great work that women are doing in the sector, and, help other people become better for what we do.
Trust me, we'll be having a lot of interesting discussions as time goes on. So Fisayo, please tell us what you do in the agri landscape.
Okay. Again, my name is Fisayo Kayode, and I'm a trained animal scientist, registered under the Nigerian Institution of Animal Science. I currently work as the senior manager at Sahel, and I lead a lot of projects, but I'll just highlight the primary project I work on. It's called Advancing Local Dairy Development in Nigeria. And this project is a 5-year project. We are currently in the 4th year, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And we primarily work with dairy processors in different states. We've covered 7 states in Nigeria so far, to identify smallholder dairy farmers, the ones you popularly refer to as herdsmen or pastoralists, to support them, improve their productivity through capacity building support, provision of inputs, forming them into structured groups called self-help groups, and then growing them into cooperatives. We also provide them with support to establish their own pasture so that they can have adequate feed for their cattle and reduce migration. We provide animal health services through our partner Livestock 247. And we also provide breeding improvements through artificial insemination of the local cows to increase the potential of their milk productivity. These farmers are then linked to the processors where they can supply their milk every morning and go about expanding their businesses. And that is where financial inclusion comes in the project. So there's income diversification support where we train them to diversify their businesses beyond just collecting and supplying milk. And through that, they can have multiple income, streams of income and be able to improve their livelihoods. We also have a nutrition aspect of the program because now they are having increased income. They understand the business of dairy. They can also improve their nutrition outcomes. So we work with the women to establish home gardens within their homestead and also support them to start up different things like poultry production and so on. There's cooking shows for the women to ensure that they understand diversifying their food groups and feeding their households with balanced diets. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Fisayo. Okay, Ms. Godwin.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I am Usmeja Godwin by name. Currently serve as the Chief of Staff of Chesa Agri Limited and also the Head of Technology and Digital Services at Chesa Agri. What we do in Achesa is we seek to, Achesa is an agri-tech social enterprise that seeks to enhance the production capacity of smallholder farmers in Africa. How do we do this? We do this by providing them with agricultural inputs such as fertilizers, seeds, herbicides, and pesticides, all that we need basically from planting through harvesting. If you agree with me, presently in this case, one of the big challenges we have out there is lack of access to this input, which is a problem we saw, and we try to go into this space trying to fix. Now, with what we do in Achesa so far, it goes beyond just providing inputs for these farmers. We provide them with embedded support services, such as extensions that training, even training on the potential aspect of people business. We go as far as providing linkages to net market. Now, why are we so interested in this set of farmers? We work basically with smallholder farmers, which contribute all about just about 80% of the food produced in this country. 80% of this food are being produced by smallholder farmers, and they don't have the necessary support or link they need to get all they need to produce the food that will feed all of us. Sadly, as we stay in this country presently, we still import. It will amaze you that we still import grains such as maize that you see everywhere here. It's not that we don't have the soil to grow this crop. We do, but the manpower and the resources it requires to do that is not available. So where Achesa comes into play is to provide this input for these farmers so that they will be able to use their land more efficiently and produce a whole lot of produce from our land. It has been an exciting engagement so far, hearing the different talks from Prof, how he spoke about you and what we're doing in the space. It's amazing because he's talking notes with me. I am a leader in this space. And as a leader, I want to speak to my fellow youth out here. I want to encourage us to put in the work, do what we need to do. Don't look at yourself as being too young, or I'm still in the university, I don't have anything to contribute to this space. There's a whole lot of areas in which you can contribute. And when you bring in your own quota, together we can actually take this country into where we want to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, Nasiru, maybe in the next 1 minute.
Okay. So, my name is Nasiru Dharma. As you see, I'm from Extension Africa. Extension Africa is a private extension company that is focused on solving extension problem. We know that has always been an issue in Nigeria. In Nigeria, I can give you a statistic that is going to be alarming. One extension agent, public extension agent, is to address by the ratio, the current ratio we have in the country. One extension agent is about to address the needs of 10,000 farmers. I believe this is something that is catastrophic. It's something that is not going to address that issue. So Extension Africa is coming in to provide that solution. So we come up with a model that is a private extension system we add business touch to extension service delivery, and then we are targeting all the farmers across the African continent. So that's what we are doing. So I'm an operations manager. I am the driver of this model across the continent. So and this is I'm here to address my fellow youths so that we can talk about it. I think one thing that I would like to add is I didn't apply to study agriculture. That's just the truth. But to shorten this whole discussion and everything, I'm glad I'm an employer of labor in agriculture now. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a great one. And finally, Anna.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Just like a number of us here, I didn't also study agriculture or had any idea about agriculture. I was an undergraduate of human anatomy at the prestigious Ahmadu Bello Zaria. And currently I work as the program officer on the Leading African Women in Food Fellowship program with AFC, which is a social enterprise that was established to help African entrepreneurs build and scale up resilient businesses that nourishes Africa and feed the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Another round of applause for our panelists. So we'll go straight to the questions. I have a couple of questions that I would like you to address. So I would like to start with Anna. So Anna, you know, currently, the current reality in Nigeria actually lies around the fact that agriculture has less population of people currently pursuing that sector. So why is agriculture less popular among Nigerian youths, leading to a significant decline in their active participation over the years?
Thank you very much, Barry. That's quite a beautiful question. I can remember when Fisayo started, she was like, who wanted to apply for agriculture? And then a lot of people were not so very proud to raise their hands up. And that is because that's one of the reasons why we have a decline in youth participation in agriculture, because of the perception of what agriculture is. A lot of people think agriculture is hard labor. You think it's for people in the villages that they want to go to the farm and till the ground to produce food for us to eat. So they see agriculture as not, it's not a profession that has social prestige. We want white collar jobs. We want to be doctors, engineers. That's one of the reasons why youth and we don't have so much youth in the agricultural space. Another reason is we don't have enough mentorship and we have a lot of head knowledge and come to the classroom, you just dish out information and go back home. We have very few students and youth who have hands-on practical experience in the agricultural space, and they don't have a lot of people who they can look up to as mentors to inspire them to want to pursue agriculture. One of the reasons is our ever-changing government policies. It's a hindrance to youth participation in agriculture. And also resources, money, land challenges, they are few of the many reasons why we have very little youth in the space.
Okay, so just a follow-up question. So how do you think we can actually alter this trend or reverse this?
Okay, in the challenge actually lies the solutions. We should provide increased resources for our youth. We should share success stories of people who are really doing incredible things. And one example is the program I'm leading African Women in Food Fellowship program. It's amplifying the voices of women change makers who are doing incredible things. So in that way, we're inspiring more women, gender everywhere, for us to have more women and youth also to participate in agriculture. Another thing is the mentorship, empowerment programs, conferences, just like the Sahel Scholars Conference. It's here to empower people. We're here to empower the youth to partake in agriculture.
Okay, thank you so much. In her speech, she mentioned that in the challenge actually lies the solution. So I would like to, I'll come back to you in about some minutes. So I would like to refer to Godwin. So she mentioned, if I'm to summarize what she has said, most youths don't have that motivation to go into or venture into agriculture. And if you look at Nigeria, currently Nigeria's alarming unemployment is currently somewhere around 33.3%. So how do you think youth involvement in agriculture can help reduce this rate? So, and also looking at your expertise in working with a wide lot of participants in the landscape, smallholder farmers and at different skills.
Thank you very much, Barry. Like what she just said, awareness is very, very important. The mindset around the field of agriculture is not a positive mindset. We struggle to transform our farmers from the subsistence level down to the commercial level because we have seen that the people out there, the smallholder farmers out there, are just farming for survival's sake. They are not farming so that they don't see agriculture as a business, sort of something they can go into and make good money from and make a living. So I'll use my company as an example. Achesa presently works with a network of over 10,000 smallholder farmers. And I'm proud to say that out of those 10,000 farmers we're working with, about 85% of them are youth, ranging from the age of 18 through to 35. I was quite excited when the NAS president came up and said he had a farm, which is something you don't hear from youth in the urban areas. It's a normal thing to see youth in the rural areas farming, which is more or less what they have. But when we have opportunities here and we see young men and women actually engage in the production level of agriculture, it's quite refreshing. So if we come to the point as a society whereby we no longer look at agriculture as that dirty job, whereby it's just for the poor, you will be shocked that those old men, let me say balance, that you will see without teeth, they will tell you what they show you their net worth in terms of the bags of grains they have in their house. Very shocked that even a professionally trained doctor cannot stand close to them. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So agriculture is a very lucrative business. And if more of us can go into the space and engage, those of us here in the universities, we have all the exposure and experience. We can bring that uniqueness into the space such that we'll make something better. And also the present times in which we are right now, whereby technology is growing at very, very fast rates. We have the advent of AI, which has made a whole lot of things very easy for us. At Achesa, we are committed to the use of digital tools to increase the production capacity, efficiency, and sustainability of food system in Nigeria and Africa at large. So the only way we'll be able to do this is if we paint agriculture in such a light that all of us here would want to venture into this the space. And also, I personally did not study agriculture. I studied biochemistry in this awesome place called Ahmadu Bello University. But today, I am very proud of what I've achieved. Lives we have touched as a sort of works we do in the space. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe I should also say this. I am passionate about agriculture, but I also didn't study agriculture. I actually studied human physiology, but over the past 5 years, I've been so engaged in agriculture, and I think it's just the future. So thank you so much. I think we all share the same stories. So those in agriculture, I think it's even more opportunity for you to actually venture into agri. So I would like to refer to Nasiru. He has made a lot of points around opportunities in the agri sector, AI, and all of that. So, but then I know that there are constraints in the sector. So what do you think are the major constraints hindering youth's involvement in agriculture? And also, since this is a problem, how do you think we can also tackle those constraints?
Thank you. I think the two speakers have spoken about some of these constraints that we have. One is from the youth themselves, or from the youth ourselves, and then the other one is external factor that is had to do with the policy and the way our financial system and our commercial banks and everything has been set out to be. So first of all, like they mentioned, we talk about the youth's mindset towards agriculture. Agriculture is seen as like they mentioned as a hard labor. enterprise, something that one has to get his hands dirty. I've been farming since while I was in level 200, and I have never gotten my hands dirty. So, it's something that I've been doing, and it's something that has been sustaining me. I made a lot of money since before I started working, and I'm still a farmer, and I still have farms where I have people taking care of. So the mindset, the idea of one has to get his hands dirty in agriculture is a myth, one. Secondly, you don't have to produce. I'm addressing the mindset here. We don't have to produce. You know, they be mentioned, Prof mentioned here that it's a system, it's a value chain, starting from seed to market. If you are looking at it from business concept, seed to market, where you can venture into trading of seed, you can work with seed companies, you can do anything, you can produce, you can sell inputs, you can aggregate, you can provide services. That we have service providers, we like the mechanization and everything. So it's a value chain. Just look at it, study agriculture, study the system, identify areas where opportunities within the chain where you can tap in. You can come in and provide service. You can do anything within agriculture, within the agriculture. So it's something that we, the youth, have to change our mindsets. And one thing that I would also like to add concerning the mindset of the youth is it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to get any easier. I'm sure you can ask around here. All of us here are waiting every day and night. We work sometimes to the next day to get things done. It's not going to get easier, but mind you, nothing is in life is easy. So we get to get ourselves prepared. Our preparedness is going to help us a lot. Then to talk about some of these issues that are beyond the youth's doings. Number one, yeah, the youths, especially as we are graduating, we usually we don't have the needed capital to start a business. That is why I suggested service provision. You can grant yourself in knowledge while you can be providing that training as a service to these companies that are outsourcing their trainings. And then we don't have the needed capital. Our financial system the big crisis within our financial system are so enormous, are so frustrating. I am sure even the large companies like EFE will talk to you about that. It's frustrating for you to secure finance from any of our commercial banks. So it's something that has always been a problem. It's something that I think from the policy making that has to be looked at so that that issue can be addressed, so that it can accommodate the youths and also those that do not have the needed capital to start a business.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nasiru, for that insightful contribution. So Fisayo, let's look at the stakeholders in agriculture. So, to resolve or address any issue, we have talked about an ecosystem approach where you have multiple stakeholders and partners coming into play. So what roles do you think the government, the private sector, and society itself can play in aiding the younger generation to have a prosperous agribusiness? And also, how do you think the agricultural sector can be made or rendered appealing to the youth?
Okay, thank you, Buhari. I like to approach it from bottom to top. So I would start with the government. We say it's an ecosystem. That means that we need to lean on one another to get things done. And as much as the government has a lot of role to play, they do not have a lot of capacity to transform the landscape. And that is why private sector involvement is very critical. Partnership is priority, and even the education system is very fundamental to making agric more appealing to youths. So I will start from the bottom, as I said, and that is from the school. In primary school, when they are doing career days, they assign different children to come dressed as a doctor, but you don't see a lot of students coming to dress as a profession in agriculture. And that is where the mindset shift comes from. Nobody sees it as relevant. So the government needs to, we have a lot of government schools, primary, secondary school, they need to really have maybe an office that critically drives the participation of students in agric activities. Why don't they look at students, having their home gardens, their school gardens rather, and starting off something, and beyond them harvesting it, sometimes you have these school gardens, they harvest and the teachers take it home. So the students don't see, they do not feel directly the impact of what they've done. I would have preferred that home economics starts from gardening in schools, where you cultivate, then the students can use whatever they got from the garden to prepare food and say, if I want a balanced diet every day, I can use these tomatoes to make stew, the cucumber as my vegetables, and all of that. And they really see from the beginning to the end how critical agric is to them feeding themselves as children. And coming up to the university, I think there need to be a critical look at the school curriculum. And this has to be driven again by the government, by the Ministry of Education. They have to revamp the agri curriculum. I was very ignorant of a lot of things happening in the landscape, even though I graduated, spent 5 years, plus strike and everything, additional 1 year, 6 years in school studying agriculture. I graduated and I had to learn and unlearn a lot of things that I wasn't taught in school. This doesn't mean that our schools are not great. The technical capacity is there. You are going to understand, if you study soil science, you understand in depth the soil science aspect. But what is the business of applying what you studied in soil science? Like, how can you apply that as a business when you come out of school? I think that piece is missing, and the government needs to come up with a policy that's maybe every 10 years, the curriculum should be updated so that we can catch up with the global standard. A lot of people are jackpotting from Nigeria now to do their masters in the UK. That is because the schools in the UK, they have access to more resources. They have a lot of government support. They have their advanced they use technology and all of that. And the environment is very conducive for students to learn. But when you come here, yes, we have the educators, the lecturers, doctors, professors. They are very sound. And when you look at where Nigerians are globally across all sectors, you see that we do very well in everything we do. That means we have the resilience. We are smart people. We are quite intelligent, but that resource needs to be there to push us beyond where we are at. And at the level of the sector beyond the education system, there needs to be a lot of policy reforms. For example, we started this dairy development program in 2016 thereabouts. And then over time, we saw that these livestock farmers, they've been fragmented. Everybody sees them as a threat. When it comes to insecurity, the first thing that comes to your head is farmer header crisis. They are the bandits, they are the killers, they are the kidnappers, they are we label them a lot of things. But when you look further and try to mingle with these people, you see that they are just innocent people trying to survive, finding means to take their cattle from one place to the other. And it is their own territory. They need to protect their territory. So if they feel threatened by anyone or anything, they protect, and that is when they react back. If you are in your house and you feel threatened by something, you want to protect your territory. And that is why you see a lot of things happening, encroachments happening. They don't have access to resources. They don't feel like they are among of Nigerians, but they are critical to the food system. So we decided to partner with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture as well as the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to develop a national dairy policy. It was a long ride, but eventually, about 3 months ago, the policy was approved by the federal government, and that is a win for the dairy sector. This can be done for every other sector within agriculture. We have a lot of sectors, we have subsectors, we have seed systems, and we need people to reform the policy. Again, those people sitting in the government arm about policies, they are not exposed to what is happening outside, and they do not have I will not say the commitment, but the will is not there to go outside and see. But as youths that are vibrant, we use social media every day. We see things happening. You go on YouTube, just type something on precision agriculture. You see all the innovations happening, and you could be part of that movement of reforming the policies in agriculture that favor the system and makes it look more attractive to the youth. Finally, there's little or no awareness on how to come into the system or the opportunities that are there for youth to even tap into. And that's why it doesn't look attractive if we can make more effort in making a lot of noise about the interesting things that can be done in agriculture outside of going to a farm. You don't have to be in a farm. I don't think I've been in a farm in a long time. I go there once in a while, but I don't have to farm. I don't have to produce. I don't have to do anything, as he had said earlier. There's a lot of opportunities, and maybe the private sector, just as Sahel Consulting is doing with the Sahel Scholars Program, can come together to, come up with different initiatives, programs, conferences that can really share with students or youths what are the opportunities. Finally, we need to provide support to the students. African food change makers, they have a platform where you can go access resources, data, everything you need. Maybe you want to start a business, you need to understand the business of something. You can even take trainings on there. And there are all other institutions doing that. That is where the private sector comes in, helping youth to build their capacity, understanding the business of whatever they want to go into in the African food systems landscape. I'll stop there.
Okay. Thank you so much. Just an announcement. If you please can be a bit patient, I will be over in a short while. So the next question I would like to ask Farhat. So from your own perspective, maybe from the lens of strategy, and also you could also add the gender lens also to it. So in your opinion, what do you think are the skills and knowledge needed to can be crucial for young or youth to acquire in order to thrive in the agribusiness sector?
Honestly, you first of all need that self-drive. The school can only teach you so much. With all of the challenges that have been listed, if you do not take the initiative to own your own destiny, we're just going to be here. There are so many resources online, so much resources online that you can just explore. There are so many people that have been thriving right from when they were in school before they graduated. Honestly, you don't need to wait till you graduate. The beauty of agriculture is that you can even practice all that you know right at your doorstep. How many people have home gardens, or even if you're not living in your father's house, in your family home, a patch of land, you don't need to grow much, vegetables, tomatoes. From there, you can learn so many skills. You don't even need to produce again, like she mentioned. It's a big space. You can go into tech. There's so many people that are developing apps, developing technologies that are helping better generate data. You can even go into data mining itself. Our data in Nigeria is a mess. If you can produce a solution to solve for that, that would be awesome. I can describe the possibility that exists in agriculture, but it starts from you. You having that drive to want to make a difference. Fine, then let's do aspire to perspire. Have the drive to have more money.
That's
Sure.
Have the drive to have more money. Create a new solution, and you don't have to do anything. Once you have your solution, people will come into you. They'll pay you for it. And there's so many platforms like this that exist. How many of us actually try to look at that? It's growing. It's a big deal now. People are coming up with initiatives, especially youths currently are the hot cake. In fact, gender now is beginning to play side to youth. So everybody's coming out with different initiatives. Even AFEX has the Code Cash Flow program it runs. We had our tech boot camp here in Katina. We have in Ibadan. The platform is getting wider and the prospects are out of this world. You don't all have, you can be involved in process. Tomato based, whatever level, we can make palm. How that palm, people exporting palm, people exporting zobo, people exporting St. Leaf. It's what you need to be determined to make that difference. Let's not lie to ourselves. Government is not going to solve anything. The school can only do so much based on the resources handed to them from the government. If you do not decide by yourself to be different, we'll be here next year. People will graduate and then you just, that no, agriculture is not what we think it is anymore. And you can actually be a farmer, not a older farmer. Be a farmer. You can be who tracks market price of commodity? A bag of maize, how much it costs? A bag of soybean. The difference between you and smaller farmers is that you went to school. You know how to do accounting. You know how to budget your costs. You know how to arrange your funding. So it honestly stems from you. Beyond that, anything else is just an add-on. If you don't have that self-drive to want to be better, to want to explore this opportunity that you have, there's nothing we'll say here. There's a story I can come and tell you. We'll just come here and tell our stories, and you nod, and we'll go home, and you're back here next year. But I want to implore everybody, ask yourself, what problems do I want to solve in the world? What can I do with the skill set I have learned, I have cultivated? In fact, you don't even need to, you can even go further. It's not too late to learn coding. It's not too late to learn some other skills. Just build yourself. I cannot implore you enough. Build yourself. Nobody's going to help. Nobody's coming to help. Platforms like this exist, but they won't force you to join it. You need to come forth and say, this is what I want to do different from myself. That really is all I can say. Anything I can say, oh, read up more. If you don't read, education is there. Nothing I can do. Oh, there are platforms like this that will give youth money. If you don't research, you won't know. I can't come and force you to take it. What you need is your self-drive. The internet is boundless. There are opportunities everywhere. Please, let's aspire to be more.
Thank you so much. This reminds me of a statement that says change actually begins from within. So we need that internal hunger to actually set goals and pursue our careers. So something have been coming up, and I would like to have your view on this, Godwin. You made mention of AI. She made mention of data science, coding, and all of that. So, but how do you think youth can leverage these opportunities to venture into agribusiness? Maybe because we are somehow behind schedule, maybe just 30 minutes, seconds, actually, 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, Barry. If you had given me 30 minutes, I could actually
Oh,
speak
30 seconds,
on
actually.
on this particular topic. I want to use myself as an example on this particular instance. I graduated from biochemistry in this university. After service, I didn't even know what to do. But for some reason, I was fortunate enough and I got exposed to a whole lot of courses online, free courses, where I studied what bits of code I can code today, what bit of data analysis I can run today. I learned by myself. And then I thought I was just joking until I went for an interview, and we were roughly about 200 persons that came for that job position, and they were just going to take 3 of us. I had no idea what was going on. I got to get this figure after I got it. Now, the interesting thing about this situation is, after the entrance, the written exams, then the computer-based exams, something clicked for me. Wow, there are a whole lot of young men and women out there that don't know how to use it. As basic as it seems today, as basic as spreadsheets, Excel seems today, there's a whole lot of us out there that don't know how to use it. That was the edge I had over a whole lot of them. Like I said, I was a graduate from biochemistry, and there were a lot of agri graduates there with even a master's degree at that point. Couldn't get in. Why? Because I had what I was self-taught. I taught myself a little bit of Excel. Actually, it's nothing serious. It was just Excel. It gave me an edge. And as a result of that, I got a whole lot of exposure. And today, I can probably say I code a little bit, and there's a whole lot of other products out there that we have come up with. And it's funny, I'm actually the head of technology and digital services in my organization presently. This is me that started as a biochemist. So what am I trying to say to all of us out there? Presently, it's even easier for us to get all of these things. With the advent, this year, 2023 has been really crazy. If you have put your ears on the ground, you will see what technology is doing in the space of AI. AI has made a whole lot of these technologies very easy to learn. You can have a roadmap to learn a particular programming language, or if I don't even go far as programming, just learn Excel. From there, the things you can do with Excel, my goodness, if I begin to show you some things, you'll be amazed. So, like the last speaker rightly said, exposure. If you don't know, you won't search for it. So now you know people. Go out there. Don't let anybody hold you back. You being a man, you being a woman, that's no longer an excuse. Go out there, put in the best, motivate yourself. When you motivate yourself, at the end of the day, you'll be amazed at how far you have come and what you are able to achieve. Thank you.
Okay, indeed, you can't give what you don't have. So to Nasiru, I would like to ask you the following question. So, there are many initiatives by the government to support engagements like that of youths, a lot of agri activities, but then maybe such as credit schemes, incentives, and all of that. So, but how do you think youths can leverage that also to engage in agriculture or agribusiness?
Thank you. I think this question has been answered because she mentioned preparedness, the person applying for these things or the person that wants to leverage on that. And also mentioned about packaging themselves. Whoever is going to take or benefit from this thing has to get ready, has to put himself in a position where he can qualify for such things. So preparedness is one thing that I would like to add to the previous two speakers. That is one. Secondly, get yourself a mentorship. Get yourself a mentor. Because all of the people on this stage have seen a lot, have undergone a lot, they have gotten the needed experiences. And I can assure you, we made a number of mistakes while starting up. So when you get yourself a mentor, that mentor is going to save you a lot of trouble while coming up. So get yourself ready if you really want to benefit or partake in any of these programs that the government is doing, though some of them are politically motivated. They are not targeting the right set of people. Then get yourself an idea. Know what you want to do. Are you going into production? Get yourself the needed information, the needed document, the needed whatever that revolves around production. That is primary production. Are you going into aggregation, commodity aggregation? Get yourself ready. Get yourself a company as well. That's the name of that company. I would suggest you should speak to what you are trying, what you want to do, and get yourself an active bank account. And I cannot, when you are going to get this, when you're going to partake, that is when you're going to start getting these things. Get yourself ready. Yeah, definitely it's going to be an investment that you may not benefit from at the onset of the whole idea. I believe 100, 150 to us youths is a huge amount of money, especially the undergraduates. But I assure you it's an investment that is going to pay in the future. So get yourself ready and get yourself a mentorship. I assure you these are these things that if you do these things and you put your ears to the ground like he mentioned, I believe it's something that you can benefit from. And the fact that you are ready, you want to turn it, you want to invest, and you want to turn your life around, I'm sure you are not going to end up like the farmer association, the political farmer associations that have squandered the federal government's money and that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Anna, just in 20 seconds, we've talked about the ill perception of what agriculture is among youth. So, but what do you think? How do we create this awareness on the importance of sustainable agriculture and also improving food systems?
Okay, the key to raising awareness amongst youth would be to engage them and involve them. Because there's a thing about, you can imagine coming to raise awareness about agriculture and you have a lot of really old people, they will just come, it's important. But when you engage them in it, they have a sense of ownership and they would want to participate in it. Another one is, just like Fisher earlier mentioned, is integrating it into our curriculum. There's a lot of talk, earlier Professor talked about sustainability. There's everywhere, the world is going towards sustainability. When you integrate the importance of sustainable agriculture into the curriculum, when they get to understand it, that would be a good one. And then we are in the technology age. We'll be talking about AI. We're Gen Z. Everybody here, we all fall under the Gen Z. So social media and technology is like a very big thing for us. So if we can imagine having influencers, role models, success stories everywhere on social media, because that's where you find the youth. you can like the end stars where they were like a lot of youth everywhere engaged in it. You can imagine a campaign as big as that and it's tied towards agriculture. It will raise the importance of agriculture for our youth, and that is changing their mindset and engaging them into venturing into sustainable agriculture.
Okay, talking about sustainability, Fisayo, and with focus to the youth. Um, so what do you think the future looks like that is in terms of sustainable food systems and also agribusiness, and how can youths key into this?
Um, in simple terms, the future is very bright. And not to sound cliche, I said that because 10 years ago, not a lot of investors were looking into the agri landscape. But now there's a lot of local and international investors that are looking into the agri landscape from across the world. And now these investors, their focus has been on Africa. If you really take time to do some research on how people are looking into Africa in the past 2 to 3 years, you would understand what I'm saying. There's a huge opportunity to tap into a lot of things coming into the country, a lot of things coming into Africa. We are beginning to shift from let us continue to survive to let us be self-sufficient, and a lot of work has to go into it. And for that work to be done, a lot of resources have to go into it. And one of the most critical resources is human capital. And we have the human capital. What you need to do is identify your niche, look at how you can sustain it, and then push forward. In terms of sustainability too, we've talked about curriculum. We need to also look at beyond people going to universities to study bachelors in agriculture, bachelors in this, we can have vocational training centers where we train people on different skills. There's AI. We are talking a lot about climate agriculture now. Those centers can also train people on cycle agriculture, conservative agriculture, without you having to go through the process of studying bachelors in agri. And again, leveraging information. Everyone has said a lot about leveraging information. This is an aspect that we can also continue to use to drive the importance of sustainability, understanding the critical need for it, and also sharing information that would support people within the landscape.
Okay, thank you so much for your contributions. So as a final note, maybe starting from Farhat down to Anna. So any final words, maybe in 10 seconds, words you can give the younger generation on how they can build sustainable food systems and agribusiness in 10 seconds.
First off, please understand that agriculture is a patient occupation. I know social media is cool. Everybody wants to trend or have nice pictures. But if I only show you my good side all the time, that doesn't mean my life is 100% good. So let's not come into this thinking that if I do this, by next year I can buy this, can buy this. That's not it. At least between everybody here, there's on average 10-year, a decade year of experience. And over half of that was some serious toiling, sleepless nights. In fact, things going wrong, failure. Failure is not the end of the world, it's an opportunity to learn. So let's remember that we need to put in the work, and we need to understand that everything in life takes time. It took you time to get to school. You were born, you went to primary school, you went to secondary school, you went to university. There's a process for everything. A shortcut doesn't guarantee you getting to your destination. So please, passionate about what you are. That self-pride, what you can deliver on, is very important. Nothing else will drive you than your self-pride. So take pride in what you have. This is the best time to be in agriculture.
Thank you so much. 10 seconds.
Okay. We've suffered a lot as Africans and as Nigerians. We suffer a lot from poverty. We suffer a lot from lack of access to a lot of things. And that should bring up anger. I started off in this industry because I was angry. I wanted to change the narrative. And this is not me being a motivational person. I literally, the two places I've worked so far, FAO and Sahel, I didn't sit at home and apply for the jobs. I walked there, I walked into them and said, I want to work here. And that's how I started my career. I was angry and I wanted to change the narrative. I didn't want to suffer. I didn't want to see my future suffer. I didn't want to see my future family suffer. And I needed to do something for myself to change the narrative. My second thing I would say is that when I now stepped into that industry, I saw that there was a lot of skill gap and I need to learn, as I said earlier. Take your time outside of cramming and reading for your exams to build your skills. Critical skills that you can learn: communication, writing, use of Microsoft Office suite. There's Excel, there's Microsoft Word, there's PowerPoint. Learn these things. You will need it in any career you want to pursue. And also read case studies. Just go online, look for business schools that have open access to case studies. Download case studies on agribusinesses. It will widen your horizon and really make you see beyond what you understand in school today. And it can even help you to see how you can tap into an opportunity and start off your own career. You must not be employed. There's no employment in Nigeria. That's the truth. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. So you have to come up with something innovative, start your own business. You can start from nothing, honestly, and just all you need is the knowledge and the skill. And from there, you get paid for what you know that others don't.
Thank you so much for that, Lucia.
Thank you very much for your time today. Not to reiterate what those two speakers have said, but one thing I want to leave us with here today is digital literacy. We should take our time as youth. Use those phones you use for to go, for TikTok, WhatsApp, and YouTube. Use them to learn one or two skills out there. There are a whole lot of free stuffs out there on YouTube. You don't have to pay for them. Use them. Nobody's going to come out there and push you. I want to believe we are all matured here. By virtue of the fact that we've gotten to this stage in our life, you are in one of the greatest universities in the world, and I'm very proud to be an alumni of this place. It will squeeze you and bring out life out of you. For you to have come to this point, it shows that you are made of tough material, right? So that there is nothing out there that the world can throw at you that you will not be able to handle. Our country, Nigeria, is where it is today because some persons did not take responsibility. So I'm charging all of us here today as youth. We should come together, take responsibility of our collective futures, do what we need to do individually. And when we come together as a unit, we will see this country move to that place you envision for yourself and for the generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Godwin, for that.
It has all been said, but I want to draw our attention as youths to the statistics I read, I believe it was the day before yesterday. The economies of the world are slowing down. That of America is slowing down. That of China is slowing down. The Asian tigers, their economy as well is slowing down. The only place in the world where the economy is growing is Africa. The only place in the world where the economy is still growing is Africa. And the major sectors that are growing the economy of Africa are two, majorly two: the tech and agriculture. And for us to sit here, for us to be gathered here and to discuss opportunities within the agricultural value chains, this shows you that this is an opportunity. And I would like to commend Sahel Consulting for organizing this, because I didn't have this opportunity while starting up. I wish I had opportunities like this, somebody to hold my hand like this, to show me the opportunities out there. We had to find everything ourselves. So I'm employing all of us here. Please let us widen our horizon. Let us be deliberate about what we want to do within the agricultural school, and let us get ourselves a mentor. I believe that by the end of the day, we will sit down here or somewhere else and tell ourselves that yes, we have made the right choices with our lives, and also this program has impacted our lives in one way or another. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nasir.
If you take your phone, go to Google, and probably type definitely a picture of a hungry child. So the world has this narrative that Africa is hungry, whereas we are the ones who are feeding the world, exporting food, different agricultural value chain products outside of the world. So as a youth to a youth, I'm employing and encouraging them to venture into agriculture, to want to change the narratives, to want to feed the world. And then to do that, we want to come out of school. I'm very sure a lot of us have ambitions to come out of school and probably land a job in 6 figures. We want to just hit it big and start living the life. But you have to think big and start small. But then in that process, you should continuously learn because personal development is key.
Thank you so much. I like that. Think big and start small. So officially, we've come to the end of this session. Thank you so much. But then I think we can take 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Maybe any questions you may want to ask the speakers. I have 1. Okay, just 1. Okay, 2. So we take 2 questions. Would you want to, okay, can somebody help us with the mic? Don't worry, let me do this.
I stand on the existing order of protocol. I'm Aminu Shehu Jangere from Faculty of Agriculture, 500 level, Department of Animal Science. I have these questions to the panelists. The first question is with regard to the Extension Africa. Are you a social enterprise? That's one. And how easily and readily available is your services to farmers? And also you spoke on about service profession. How do someone get into service profession? As in, how do we monetize our learned skills and knowledge? That's about it. And then for the AFC, what are the opportunities for agricultural students at AFC? Okay, sir. So last one, the affects from Apex. Please, can you alert us more on Apex and what are the opportunities in there for the youth farmers? Thank you.
So he actually asked 3 questions. So maybe you could just rush that and we take the second question.
Sorry, I think you asked whether we are in a social
enterprise. How readily are your services accessible?
Okay, services. Okay. All right, thank you. So, like I mentioned, we are a private extension firm where we work with agro-allied companies, development organizations, sometimes government and financial institutions to render our extension services. We are promoting a model that is solving the extension service delivery in Africa. And where I gave the statistic that we do 1 extension agent in Nigeria is to cater for the needs of 10,000 smallholder farmers, something that is, we believe is not possible. So that is what we do as a company. We have a number of services a number of things that you can benefit from. Yes, we render some social support systems. We are currently about launching an agribusiness academy, just like a Coursera of agribusiness, where we have courses online where students can access and learn a thing or two, something that will provide a career guide to them and also give them, support them with the needed knowledge and skills for them to thrive in the agricultural space. Now, how accessible are our services? Yes, we have online presence. So if you need our services, and I'm here as well, if you need my service, just talk to me and we can start immediately. Thank you. And I don't know, you asked something around smallholder farmers, right?
I think you've addressed the questions.
The profession. Service provision, they cut across a number of things that you can do. We have there are people that are I use training because as a student, maybe your knowledge is the only thing that you can provide. So you can get yourself the needed knowledge, be grounded in knowledge, so that you can provide training as a service. You understand? So I believe that's what you can do at the moment. But service provision cut across a number of things. We have those that are providing mechanical mechanization services. We have some that are providing the servers agent, mopping agent that can mop that commodities on behalf of agro processors, among other things. And you can work with Extension Africa as there's something we call farmer business associate. We can train you free of charge to become a farmer business associate. That is another word, another name for extension service. When you go online, you can register, you can receive training from us. Then you can become a certified farmer business associate that you can work with or either us or any agro-allied companies. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I would have to take the second question. Maybe after the sessions, you could just meet one-on-one for some minutes and clarify. So just ask your question, just one question.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm standing on the already established protocol. My name is Yahya Mubarak, former level of science, Faculty of Agriculture, Bello. So I'm actually glad that each of the panelists talked about digital skills and tech in agriculture. If you hadn't, I would have asked. But since you asked, since you talk about it, then my question comes. Now we have, if you check this hall now, I'm sure you have data analysts, content writers, programmers, and all that. You know, so myself, I'm a content writer and a potential digital marketer. But from my little experience so far, I don't think in Nigeria, agriculture is very, very lucrative for these tech skills. I don't think, I'm not saying it's not. So I want to be clear. Is there a mismatch between the solutions these tech-savvy Gen Z people provide and then the problem in Nigeria? That's what I want to ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I would direct this question to Farhat.
Okay, so first off, the idea is, are you solving challenges in the value chains? Your context, you're a content writer, right? Some of the things you've done hasn't been agricultural based. Okay, why? There was a need for it, wasn't there? So we need to think wide, need to think big. People are developing apps that can either determine diseases on the farm. You just take a picture and then you know what's wrong with your crop or the soil look. So there's so many things to be done. So my question now is, are you in the right space? It's possible for you to have the right skill, but you be in the wrong space. So many things, from processing, from production, from post-harvest. People have created post-harvest solutions, inventory management solutions, solutions that can detect aflatoxin. There's so many things that can be explored. You just need to be creative. What challenge? The first question is, what challenge do you want to solve for? There's a myriad of challenges. Pick one and dive straight into it. It's really that simple. You can look up Code Cash Crop on Apex. That's a platform for young tech guys to come in and pitch their solutions. They get to have mentorship and they get seed money. If you win the competition, there's a money for you to scale out your business as a tech person. So yes, that platform is specifically for tech enthusiasts and innovators, all youth. Please be deliberate about the problem you want to solve. Don't just say, okay, I know how to code. Okay, so what are you doing with that? Be deliberate about the problem you want to solve. Thank you.
I wish we had more time, but I know we would have had interesting discussions on this. But after the sessions, you could just meet them to have discussions one-on-one. So as a final note, thank you so much for your time, and to the audience, thank you for your patience and time. We are very grateful. Thank you so much. Please, 3 huge bossas for the panelists. Thank you so much.
Please, let's jam our hands together as they make their way to their seats. Thank you very much. We appreciate all our panelists and the moderator for the excellent remarks and commitment to supporting Africa's agricultural landscape. Do we all agree that the session was quite insightful and we've learned a lot? Excellent. We'll jump right into the next item, which is the breakout session. Now, I'm sure some of us still have a lot of questions, and you have the opportunity to ask the speakers, the panelists, all these questions after this session when you are networking. So please make sure to put the questions down. You get an opportunity to interact with the speakers and the panelists later on as we close the conference. Now we'll move on to the breakout sessions. This is an opportunity to engage with all the speakers we've had today. And it is also an opportunity to connect with key organizations who are leading and implementing sustainable ways for us to develop our agriculture and nutrition landscape across Africa. For our friends online, we have 4 rooms created for you. By now, a box should appear on your screen. Feel free to select your preferred topic. The facilitators will be waiting for you. And speaking of the facilitators, and this is for our online audience, I'll come and explain how we'll do it for those of us who are here. But for the purpose of those who have joined us online, the first facilitator we have is Dr. Ibrahim Yusuf, who is a livestock expert, and he's going to be facilitating the session on showcasing sustainable and profitable business models. Next speaker, next facilitator, I beg your pardon, will be Miyakno Ekong, who is a consultant with over 3 years experience with Sahel Consulting, and she's leading transformational efforts in agriculture, and she'll be leading the session on improving agriculture's image. Next, we have Nosa Obano, a driven professional who drives impact in the African Food Change Makers Hub. He'll be facilitating the session on building network and communities. And last but not the least, for the online participants, we have Yemisi Iwasomi, a credit risk professional with over a decade experience. She'll be facilitating the session on promoting finance and agricultural insurance. Now, for those who are here, we'll also be having 4 breakout sessions. And the first facilitator we have is Professor Aisha, who will be facilitating the session on increasing youth access to agri-tech. This session will focus on improving access to information and on learning about modern farming techniques, value addition, market and trade, trends, and climate. This session will be taking place here in the hall. As I read out these breakout session topics, please put them at the back of your mind and make sure to pick your preferred topic so that you join the session, and also get your questions ready for the facilitators. Second, we have Ahmed Mood, who will facilitate the session on building networks and communities. In this session, you will learn about creating linkages between the youth, the private and the public sector, and involving youth in policy dialogue. This session will be holding in class 1. Next, we have Ilesomi Pupa, who will facilitate the session on showcasing sustainable and profitable business models. This session will be holding in class 2. Finally, we'll have Salisu Abubakar, who will facilitate the session on improving agriculture's image. Here, you will learn how to leverage social media and ICT. I remember someone just asked a question about technology, so you might want to join this breakout session. And so in this session, you will learn all about how to leverage social media and ICT to create awareness on agricultural profitability and innovations. This session will also hold here in the hall. Please, let's take note that we have 2 sessions holding here in the hall, one holding in class 1 and another holding in class 2. For those of us who will be picking the sessions holding in the hall, again, Professor Aisha will facilitate session on increasing youth access to agri-tech, and Ilesomi will lead the, Salisu Abubakar will be leading the session on improving agriculture's image. And for those of us who will be heading out to class 1 and 2, you have Ahmed Mood, who will facilitate the session on building network and communities. And finally, Ilesomi who will facilitate the session on showcasing sustainable and profitable business models. Let's bear in mind that this will be an open and interactive session. And once you pick your preferred topic and expert of choice, come ready with your questions. We hope that you have a fruitful and great discussion. Make sure to actively participate so you can benefit from the wealth of knowledge and experience that these speakers and facilitators have garnered over the years. Thank you all for being attentive so far. And as a matter of fact, please give yourselves a round of applause for being such an attentive audience and for participating fully in this conference so far. The breakout session will be for only 30 minutes. We look forward to your engagement. We may now all move. We move, guys. Let's move. Thank you all very much. See you in 30 minutes. Please, hello. Please, let's all kindly take our seats so we can bring the event to a close. We have about 5 more minutes, please. All right, welcome back, everyone. We hope that you had engaging discussions in the breakout rooms. We also hope that you were able to collect the contact details or social media handles of your facilitators so that you can continue to tap into their wealth of experience and knowledge. We would like to thank all our facilitators. Thank you all so much for participating in the session that I making this really someone. And we have excelled in the agri industry. We also like to thank our guest speakers, moderators, and our meeting both offline and online, who have been very attentive and participated in this conference. It's now time for us to listen to the call to action and closing remarks. But before we do that, it is important that we take out our phones now. If you don't mind, please take out your phones. Search for Sahel Consulting across all social media platforms. Make sure to follow us so that you can have access to all the numerous opportunities and resources that we have and continue to create your own path to success. It is important to engage these platforms for you to see what we are up to, how we're making a difference in the agricultural industry, and how to learn and leverage all these opportunities. So please, if you are yet to follow Sahel Consulting, Sahel Capital, and the African Food Change Makers, please do so now. I would like to call on Chinedu Agbara, our associate partner at Sahel Consulting, to share the call to action and give us his closing remarks. Chinedu, if you are ready, please go ahead.
Thank you. Can you confirm you can hear me? Sheon, can you confirm if you can hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, thank you, Sheon. Good afternoon, all. And thank you all for the patience.
Please hold on, Chinedu. Chinedu, if you can hear us, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Sheon. So I was just saying thanks to everyone for the patience. It's been a very long day. Yeah, I'm standing on existing protocols that has been established throughout the day. I would like to specifically thank the management and staff of Ahmadu Bello University here represented. Also, we do have that is also represented in the venue. So really my call to action, I cannot really recap all the information that you've heard from the different speakers, starting from Professor Okolocha. Thank you, Prof, for taking out the time to make the presentation on why youth voices are important for food system transformation. Also, thank you to our alumni represented, Fisayo Kayode, on the panel from Sahel Consulting, Senior Manager at Sahel Consulting. We also have from our sister organization, Anna from AFC, and also our key partners, Nasir Udaman, operations lead at Extension Africa, whom we're looking to work together as we try to transform the agricultural system in Nigeria and across Africa. Also, Godwin Osumeje of Achesa Africa. Thank you, Paul, and a host of others that I can't mention. But indeed, I think beyond the thank yous, as we are getting ready to leave, we need to understand, among all the formations that we've learned, that building a future in agriculture is very important. And as young people seated in the room, it is up to us. We are the hope of, we are the people of the future, but we also know that there are lots of things that we need to understand in terms of agriculture. Agriculture is very important. That I can't overemphasize, and I know we all know these individuals in the agriculture sector as whatever we are doing. Have a vision of where you want to go to. I know as young people we have a lot of distractions now, social media, which is also very important, but then can also serve as a source of destruction. But I urge you to have a vision of where we need to go. Where do you need to go in the next 10 years? Have that long-term vision and break this down into smaller visions of what you need to do. And this is in agriculture. There are lots of opportunity in agriculture. If I give you an amazing stat that blew my mind recently, and I think a lot of you might doubt this, but I ask you to go back and verify. It has to do with the fact that a kg of tomato seed is worth more than a kg of gold. We all know gold, and we know how important gold is. But also, would you believe that a kg of tomato seed is worth more than a kg of gold? You can check this. A kg of tomatoes, and this is to show you the future of where the world is going to. Food is increasingly going to become important. It's important, and it's even becoming more important. So I encourage every one of you to do not despair in terms if you're studying agriculture-related courses, even if you're not studying agriculture, but then understand that there is a big future out there for you, and work towards that, and the sky can only be your starting point. So I will not want to take so much more time, so much of your time. It's been a very long day. I will stop at this point and say thank you all, and please remember agriculture is very important for all of us. Thank you, and goodbye.